Now we welcome in the head coach for the Miami Hurricanes baseball program, former teammate of Danny's, Gino DiMare, after another big weekend for the Canes. Good to see you. Good to have you with us, Gino. How are things?
Yeah, well, first of all, appreciate you guys having me on. Things are good as of right now. We had a good weekend, good week, I should say. Talk about the weekend, but it's really you play 4 games. We played a midweek game too. So last week, happy about how we played. Really swung the bat really well, especially over the weekend, and that's always a good thing. And like I was telling Danny off the air, there, our pitching we've been hit a little bit with the injury bug. We lost some guys out for the year, so it's always a little nervous when you got a double header and you're little bit more thin than you want to be on the pitching side. But our offense picked us up big time this weekend, and it was a good weekend for us, and we needed that, get our confidence going, because it's not going to get any easier as we move forward here.
So, that's funny you say that, because, after, I don't know, the last game against Florida, you guys were up in Gainesville. We had to talk some people off the ledge, Gino. It was absolutely ridiculous. I guess people didn't realize that Florida is a really good team as well. So we had to talk people off the ledge about how good Miami actually was. And you really showed that this weekend against a great ball club. What on earth got into CJ Kayfus? And I know he's a great hitter, but you could not get him out all weekend.
Well, there's no doubt when we played Florida, they were clicking on all cylinders, and they are a very good team. And we, like I said before, our pitching's a little thin. And once it got kind of bad there, you're throwing guys in the back end that hadn't had much experience. And so it can get a little lopsided, and it did. So all those games were lopsided. It was a crazy series.
Yeah.
CJ was not swinging the bat, had not been swinging the bat the way we know he can swing the bat. He's the most valuable player on our team from last year, even though we have Yohandy Morales, arguably one of the top players in the country. But CJ, just all around, is just such a great player. And we've been hitting him. We were hitting him 3 and 4. Him and Yo-Yo kind of flipping back between the 3 and 4 spot in the lineup. And then CJ just wasn't clicking. And so figured let's put him back to his our leadoff. We weren't really getting a lot out of there either. So we made the decision to put him back in the leadoff spot, and ever since then, it's really kind of freed him up. It just seems he's more comfortable in that spot, and he's taken off. And since he's taken off, the whole lineup really has too. Right. We're just scoring a lot more runs. But yeah, he was on fire this weekend, and that's it's hard to hit like that all the time. But we definitely need his production in our lineup, which we were not getting. He was definitely. He was frustrated. He was frustrated the first part of the season there. You could see it, but he's certainly not now.
So is his approach different in the leadoff spot than it was when he's down in the middle of the lineup?
Danny, it's funny how you tell guys, look, I'm going to hit you third and fourth, or, third or fourth. Don't change anything. CJ, you tell him, keep the same mentality as you were as a leadoff guy, because he's an aggressive guy anyways, a leadoff guy. He's not up there taking pitches. If they're going to, he'll walk. He's got as good a discipline, probably the best discipline on our team, which fits that role in the leadoff spot. But he's also, if you're going to throw a pitch right down the middle, first pitch of the game, he's going to be ready to swing the bat. But you try to explain to the guys, just because you're moving in a different spot in the lineup, you are who you are as a hitter. Don't change any of that. And so I don't know if it's a mental thing or not, but all I can tell you is his body language, just his putting him in the leadoff spot. Maybe that took some pressure off of him. I don't know. I think the leadoff spot is an important part of the lineup too, as well as 3 and 4. I mean, you're the first guy coming up in the game, and you're setting the tone, and you're going to get up more than anybody else being the leadoff guy in a game. So whatever it is, Dan, it certainly worked. And it's good to have a guy like that. I mean, like I said, last year, he hit in the leadoff spot, and he was all everything for us.
Yeah, he's had an amazing career there. Do you see him as a first baseman at the next level, or possibly outfield? I just think he's so athletic. He could play anywhere, right?
He could. And I know I get that question asked a lot from the pro scouts. And I say, yeah, he can play outfield, but he's not going to play that here. Again, I think that's something you played with Coach Morris. And Coach Morris said, one thing he told me, one of the many things, but was having a good defensive first baseman and having a lot of value in that person over there, and especially at the college level, because you're saving some throws. Man, you're saying just so many things that come into play at first base. With the range and being able to field your position and picking
Yeah.
balls and all those things. And so he can play in the outfield. He has played some outfield, not here, but he has played his freshman year. He played a few times out there, but I know the pro guys think of him as that. I compare him again. You always compare guys, different players and stuff, but somebody that comes to my mind was a guy named Don Mattingly that wasn't too bad playing first
Yeah.
base. That was athletic and kind of similar in terms of, again, I'm not saying CJ is going to be Don Mattingly, but Don Mattingly was a left-handed hitter. He hit the ball all over the field. Don Mattingly can run. He had just great instincts. He's very athletic at first base. I know that's a long time ago, but that's kind of the kind of player I see in CJ. Is kind of that old school player.
Yeah, well, Mattingly did play third base in a big league game before too. So.
Left-handed.
Yeah, amazing, and made a great play. So, so going to your pitching real quick. The starting pitching is obviously starting to click, and I know with pitching sometimes takes a couple outings to get that groove. And Zeal has been great. Ligon has been great. Obviously, I want to ask you about Rosario. The stuff that he has, man, it looks unhittable. Like it looks like he should be throwing no hitters, no hit stuff every time, and it puzzles me. What do you see his struggles like? What's the cause of his struggles as of late?
Well, it's not as of late. I mean, he's just his struggles struggles going back certainly were when things didn't go well, kind of spiraled on him, and mentally, I don't think he handled it well. I got to tell you, he has struggled this year. Mentally, though, he's handled himself pretty dang good. He's been a lot better, a lot more mature on the mound than he was in the past years, especially last year. But Danny, it's a tough one. I'm kind of right there with you. He's got as good a stuff as anybody I can recall here. Some of the issues are basically missing too much fat part of the plate. I think hitters probably see the ball out of his hand. Well, if you don't see a lot of uncomfortable swings at times. At times you do, but he throws a lot of balls. He works down in the zone, but there's a lot of balls when he gets hit that are over a good part of the plate. The spin rate thing, you hear all that nowadays, and maybe his isn't as high as some other guys, and that plays into it. But it's a tough one. I know it's frustrating for him because, like you said, his arm is it's as good as I can recall anybody having. I mean, he sits. He doesn't even falter off of it. He'll sit anywhere from 95 to 90. At 98, 99 miles an hour. I mean, there's not many guys that can do that
with some movement.
With movement and sync at times.
Yeah.
The breaking ball has gotten better than last year. The changeup is a pitch that needs to give. His changeup is very hard, and so he's throwing his changeup almost 90 miles an hour. And sometimes that's a pitch that it's not effective being that hard. Can work into the favor of some hitters sometimes, but it's something we're trying, we're trying to figure out and get him in a position where he can be more successful, because it certainly is, it's frustrating. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it. The top 25, what D1 puts out, I know it's not a big deal to you at this point in the season, but they did jump you guys to 17 after not being ranked. Does that mean anything to the players?
You know what? I didn't even look at it. Is that where we're ranked right now?
Yeah, it's got you at 17.
Yeah, they jumped us up. We were up there, and then we fell out. And so we talk about it very little. At the beginning of the year, our goal is to be a top 8 team at the end, so we can possibly be in that situation where we're a national seed like we were last year. That gives you a better advantage, obviously, being at home for a regional and hopefully a super regional.
Yeah,
we weren't able to take advantage of. But you want that, have that opportunity to be at your own ballpark. So that's the most important one there. The last poll, I tell them also, the end of the year poll.
Yeah,
we were a national seed, but at the end of the day, we didn't even get out of the regional. So it's the last poll that matters the most. We don't get caught up in it too much. I think when I first started out as a head coach, I probably talked about it a little too much. I don't really get into it as much as I did then. I think that was a mistake. We tell them at the beginning of the year our goals. We all know what our number one goal is, But to get to that number one goal, being a champion, there's some things along the line that you have to put yourself in the right place. And the first one is being a national seed. And then you can break it down to, look, we want to win every series if we can, and if you have a chance, we talk about if you've won the first two and you got a chance to sweep, you need to take advantage of that. We did a good job of that last year. We swept some really good teams last year, and that put us in a good position. But all games matter. The last 2 years, last year, Danny, we finished a half a game out of first place to Virginia Tech, half game out of first place in the ACC.
Right.
And the year before, we finished a half a game out of first place in the Coastal to Georgia Tech, I believe it was. So, those games, every game counts, every game matters. And so that's kind of what we're focused on. I mentioned to you off the air, midweek games. Those are huge, the midweek games. I mean, when we lost, we beat NC State 2 out of 3 opening weekend, but we lost a midweek game. So we went 2-2. We didn't go 3-1. Yeah. And that makes a difference in these rankings. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at how you did throughout the week, not just the weekend. And so, that's a great thing for us. I tell the guys all the time, we're in the ACC. You're going to have unbelievable opportunities every week. Here we go again. We're going to play FAU, who's probably got the best FAU team that I've seen in quite some time. We got them midweek, and then we go on the road to play Wake Forest, who I don't know where they at. Probably 2, if I had to guess.
Yeah, they're 2 now. I did their doubleheader Saturday.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys want to move up in the polls? There you go. You got a great opportunity. But again, I think you're more focused on trying to play good baseball, and for us, trying to be at our best at the end of the season. We want to be at the hottest at the end of the season, which is so important, as you know. And so it's kind of a gradual process.
Yeah. So, well, Gino, I just wanted to thank you for joining us. I know we lost Daron, but he is watching and he's listening. But I did want to show you something. This is my jersey from when we played together. This is the first time I put it on since I was 18 years old. I don't know how it still fits, but it still fits. I wore this in honor of you, dude.
Well, I got to tell you, before I go, you were a freshman, I think, my senior year. And I'm not going to tell everybody what we nicknamed you, but we got a player on our team that looks a lot like you. He's left-handed, so I can't say reminds me, but he reminds me of you in terms of, boy, I hope he has the career that you did. He's got a lot of, let's just say, moxie. I won't use the word I want to use, but he's a left-hander named Chris Cinta, and Chris has been the surprise of the team. The fall and the scrimmages in the spring through okay. I mean, he has been unbelievable. We brought him into the game. Fearless, Danny.
Yeah.
Fearless. And you guys look a lot alike. And of course, he has the glasses.
He's got the glasses. Yeah.
Yeah. And a great kid, tough kid. I mean, just it took me by surprise because I didn't see that in these scrimmages. But sometimes you know the deal when you flick the lights on. Some of these guys that change. They just change into a different person, and he's been one of those guys. And so, but you were a great teammate, man, and that uniform brings back a lot of great memories.
Yeah, this is the Ron Frazier patch on here.
92.
Special. Yeah, 92.
92 was last year. Yeah, that was a great year. We lost 7 games the entire season during the regular season. That's all we lost. Could you imagine that, losing just 7 games?
I try to tell people how good that team was, and it's hard for people to understand, like 7 games all year in the regular season. Yeah.
That's hard to do. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it done. We had it too. We had it there for the taking. We won the first 2 in the World Series, and dang, Fullerton couldn't get them.
Phil Nevin and Fullerton.
Phil Nevin in that torrential downpour rain we had to play in, and poor Coach Frazier's last game, which was ridiculous. But it was a lot of great memories, and no, you were a great teammate. That's great to see that jersey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take it off soon because it's really squeezing my belly. You can't see that. So anyway, Gino, thank you, man. I appreciate the time, dude, and I hope to catch up with you in person again here soon. Down the road.
Same here, Danny. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.